Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Kenny G brings his Miracles Holiday and Hits Tour to Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia this Friday. He joined me to discuss playing the same saxophone for nearly 50 years since high school, en route to becoming the top-selling instrumentalist of all time. Kenny G, hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in Washington, D.C.
Hey, my pleasure. Glad it worked out.
So we are talking because Kenny G is going to be coming to the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. I know we're a DC radio station, but our radius covers all that. So all these people are going to be flocking over the line to West Virginia to see you perform. It's going to be December 9th. So I assume this time of year, I mean, do you mix any Christmas? I assume any Christmas stuff, holiday stuff in this time of year, or is it all out of your other standards as well?
No, we do holiday music too. We'll mix it into the music. We have 5 or 6 holiday songs that we really like to play. So I think we put a nice mix together. It's not all holiday and it's not all not holiday.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what are the 5 or 6? Is it off of Miracles? Because I remember our family had that as a kid, and I can't think of the holidays without thinking of your instruments with those songs. Like they're like the iconic versions of those songs to me.
Thank you. I by the way, I agree. I completely agree. And
mine are the best.
Well, sometimes you just nail the right kind of arrangement on the song, and that album really just did it. So yeah, we do stuff from Miracles, and then I've done a couple of other Christmas records since. And so if you like Miracles and if you like the way that sounds, all the Christmas songs I do have that similar vibe. So it's all going to be great. We'll do White Christmas. We're going to do Deck the Halls, Sleigh Ride, Winter Wonderland. It's just, those are fun. And the melodies are beautiful. Everybody knows them. It's fun. So we do that and we really enjoy it.
Great. Thank you for that. It's going to be great. I mean, it really is, your sound, your saxophone, it is Christmas to us. We appreciate it. And then in terms of some of the other songs, that non-holiday songs, and I don't, not to spoil the whole set list, but maybe throw out a song title or two, or, some pieces, composition, some pieces that we might recognize from that you might play.
It's hard to say because I don't know if people even know the titles of my songs. They just know the melodies. So which is even better. That's better for me. So, we'll play our Songbird. That song's been around for a long time. We have our song called Silhouette that people enjoy. But we do songs that we like to play that show off our musicianship. So it's not just playing songs that people come to hear. My friend Clive Davis, who is a really famous, record executive, told me once, he goes, you don't always want to play the songs that people want to hear. You want to give them things that they don't even know that they might think they don't want it, but it's better to give them that to make the show better. So we do things that, like, we're going to play some old jazz tunes that people probably have never heard of, but they're going to really enjoy that. So we throw in a lot of things that are unexpected.
Well, and to your point, they don't know they want to hear it until they hear it, and then they hear it, and then that's the one they'll be requesting the next time. You got to stay ahead of the crowd sometimes, and lead them to the stuff that you think they'll want to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, whenever I have a legend like yourself on, I always love to sort of hear your quote unquote your superhero origin story. I know you were born in Seattle, the other Washington, where it's this Washington State, not Washington D.C. like us. But to just talk about sort of what it was like growing up, and I guess it was Jewish family. How'd you celebrate the holidays around when you were growing up?
Well, we never celebrated Christmas. So when I started playing Christmas songs, to me, it was a little foreign because I never really got into them until I was an adult. But then I just like the melodies as an instrumentalist. I'm always attracted to songs that have great melodies. So these Christmas songs are just beautiful melodies to me. And they obviously represent a really, for most people, a really beautiful time of the year when you get family together. I know for some people it can be a sad part of the year, but most of the time we think that people really enjoy the family connection. So I love playing the songs, but that didn't really start until I was well into my 20s. Sure. But growing up, I just practiced my sax all the time. That's kind of what I do. I'm in the middle of practicing right now as we speak. I'm in the middle of my 3 hours in the morning. I'm here in LA, and it's what time is it here? But it's in the morning time, so I'm still in the middle of my practicing. I do that every day, and that's pretty much what's led me to where I am, is just working really hard at what I do, getting really good at it, and then just not taking no for an answer most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned you're surrounded by your instruments, right? You have the saxophone sitting there with you, and are you going to play any for us on this interview, or is not, or not?
I don't know. I mean, it's sitting
If you
right
want,
here.
I would freaking
I mean,
be awesome.
I don't know if it's how good it's going to sound on the iPhone, but we'll play like.
You mind throwing a Christmas? Yeah, why don't you, if you could, but Christmas, something holiday-ish.
So there you go. That's
Wow.
it doesn't sound that good in the practice room. Like this practice room I'm in right now. It doesn't sound good in here, which is exactly where I like to practice, because I don't want to fool myself to think that I'm playing great stuff when maybe it's not quite so perfect. So in this room, if you don't play it exactly right, it doesn't sound even close to being good. So that's why I practice in here, and it's it's fun to me. It's fun to me because that's the challenge. It's the challenge of working hard at something that you love to do, and trying to get better at it. And I do that every morning for 3 hours.
The dedication of doing it for 3 hours. And yes, and don't worry, obviously it's not ideal as a complete recording studio, but just the idea that we just heard the real genuine article, the real deal, the live over the cell phone or whatever. That was so
It was
cool.
very easy, by the way. That was easy. That was not hard to do.
Exactly. Oh, I mean, you could probably do that in your sleep. Well, when did you first come into contact with this beautiful instrument of the saxophone? Did you hear someone playing it, or did you receive it as a gift? I want to know sort of how that whole your longest relationship began, you and that sax.
Well, yeah, it is my longest relationship. I've had this same sax for almost 50 years. This sax I'm holding in my hand. So
that exact one?
Yeah, the same one. Yeah, I've had it for a long time, since high school. So it's definitely, we have a good relationship going. I think we love each other. I'm pretty sure. I love the sax. I'm pretty sure the sax loves me.
Do you ever fight?
No, never fight. No, it's always a respectful discussion about why a note didn't come out. Like, if a note didn't come out, I'm never going to blame the sax, unless for some reason there is really a mechanical problem. Every now and then there's a mechanical thing that happens, and I go for a note and it doesn't come out. And I'd love to tell the audience, listen, I played that thing perfectly. The sax just didn't play right because a pad got stuck. But you can't say that because there's no time for that kind of stuff. But most of the time,
then you go backstage and you and the sax are fighting. And why'd you have to say that about me? But you know how to press its buttons.
Yeah, I'm pressing all the right buttons, but every now and then the sax will have a little mechanical problem, but not very often. If I make any mistakes, it's really all up to me. But yeah, we've had this relationship since high school. I saw someone on TV playing it when I was a kid. I wanted to play it, and as soon as I got it, I just loved it and really just enjoyed the challenge of practicing and getting better. And I still do every morning. I'm working on some stuff this morning that I will take me months to get to where I'll probably play it live. Just little exercises, little, flurries of notes, arpeggios, whatever you want to call them, that are not easy. And they just take, lots of muscle memory, and then they become easy.
That is great. Do you have, does it have a nickname? Does the saxophone have a name? If it's your longest relationship, it's got to have a name.
It doesn't have a name. No, it does not have a name. No. I don't think I've wanted to cross that line. I don't know what that means, but I just wanted to cross it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you give it a name, then it crosses that line. Well, tell me, So what was the actual, you really got into playing, and I can hear the dedication in your voice. You still play 3 hours every day, but what was like the big, the quote unquote break into the biz? Was it, we're playing for Barry White's Love Unlimited Orchestra, or what would you say was sort of the big break?
Well, there's a lot of big breaks. I mean, doing that when I was in high school, playing with Barry White, who was, your young listeners that have no idea who he is, but he was, the biggest, most popular male R&B singer in the world, not in the country, in the world. And to be able to play with him and get featured was, for a high school white kid, was pretty great, So I got noticed a lot, and that kind of helped me kind of get established as a guy that could play the instrument. And then from there, joining bands and then getting seen. Clive Davis coming and asking me if I wanted to do my own record deal. And then from there, finding the right management that got me on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Again, the young listeners that don't know about that, the Johnny Carson show was everything. It was Kimmel, it was Fallon, it was Oprah, it was
all
Ellen,
of them combined.
all of them combined times like 100. And if you were on that show and you got featured and you did well, it was that really made your career. So all those things combined, and you take away any one of them, and I'm probably not talking to you today.
I'm glad that you are talking to us today.
Me too.
Because it means a lot of success along the way. Now, what was it, your idea or Clive's idea when he signed you to shorten it to Kenny G? Because Kenneth Gorelick, is that how you say it, is the full name. But whose idea was to it's catchier, it's snappier?
Yeah, back in those days, there weren't rappers that had that kind of vibe going. They didn't exist, so I didn't get that from anybody. I didn't see anybody else do it. Now, it wasn't Clive. It was my manager at the time. His name is Jeffrey Ross, a really nice guy, and he was my first manager. And he's the one that said, you should just call yourself Kenny G. As everybody calls you the G Man or G this. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? I didn't give it too much thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it stuck and it really worked. And like you said, you've done so many songs that people know, but might not know by the title. But once they hear it, they're like, oh, yeah, I've heard that all over the place. I heard that in the elevator the other day. I heard that in the grocery store. It's everywhere. It's in the car. It's everywhere. But the big one, I at least that I think associate with you, at least early on, was Duotones. And I guess was it like 86 or something? So you mentioned Songbird was on that. Just any memories of putting Duotones together, and particularly Songbird, and good stories from the studio?
Yeah, that was my first record where I actually was really in charge of what I wanted to do. Not that the record company really didn't put me in charge, but I took charge and really did the instrumentals the way I wanted to do them. So Songbird was me, just like I played every instrument on that song. So when you hear it, keyboard parts, the bass parts, on a synthesizer. I played everything. So I was just me putting together music that sounded good to me without anybody telling me anything. No feedback. No, you can't do this. I just said that I'm putting this stuff on the record. And that's the song I played on Johnny Carson against the wishes of everybody that booked me on the show. And so that was really me doing my thing. And so that has a lot of good memories.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you went with your gut and just play what you wanted on Carson.
Me too.
That pays off. Well, then to flash forward, I guess Breathless in 92 was that the biggest selling instrumental album ever at the time, or it's to this day still?
I think by far today. And I don't say that with any ego. It's just numbers, Yeah. So I think that record sold 12 million in the States, maybe more. I mean, in the world is probably, I don't know, 15 or 16 million. I don't think any other instrumental record comes close to that. And I don't say that with ego. It just is what it is. So yeah, I don't see that ever being broken because people don't buy records anymore. So I don't think it's possible to break that record, so there you go.
Absolutely. So are you saying, Breathless then is probably going to be untouchable? I don't think anyone will ever top those numbers. But in terms of, we're talking dollars and cents. I mean, great. That's great that it sold all that. But like in terms of like a piece of art, do you think it, are you proud of it? Because I believe you got a Grammy for one of Forever in Love. It was off of that, right?
I did get a Grammy, yeah, for that. Yeah, my only Grammy. I think I've been nominated about 20 times.
What the hell? Only one?
I know, only one. And I was actually disappointed I didn't get nominated this year because my record that I put out recently called New Standards, I really, really love that record. I mean, of course, you love every record that you put out, and every new record seems to be your most favorite. But there's a lot of really great, I think, sophisticated instrumentals, and the way we recorded it, and all the care and things that we did when we recorded strings in the London studios. It was just like a lot of beautiful things, and for whatever reason it got overlooked. And that's just that's the downside of being popular in terms of at least when it comes to instrumentalists. When you're popular, the instrumental world kind of looks down at you like, well, you went commercial. And that's just not even true. Yes,
right.
Yes, it is. It went commercial, but not because the artist went commercial. It went commercial because people liked it and they bought it. But that wasn't that wasn't how it started. I didn't make a commercial record. I made a beautiful record that I loved, and people loved it. And so, that when it comes to being nominated for a Grammy, the Grammys, I think they kind of look down on that. So I have not had success with the Grammys, even though, my instrumentals are probably the most heard instrumentals on our planet. And yet I couldn't get arrested trying to play one of them on the Grammys. They would never have that happen.
Well, you know what? It really does not matter, because if all it is how you've reached the people and name recognition and the artistry itself. And, if you go down the street and ask someone to name an instrumentalist, Kenny G is right on everyone's lips. Everyone can say, they'll spit your name out. And to me, that is more important than, all the awards in the world. So don't even worry about that. And to your point, Kenny G, to your point, the music is probably the same. It's all the prism they want to apply to it. You can play the exact same instrumental song, and then they say, is that commercial or not? You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It's just great music. So
yeah. Well, one of the things that happened in my career that really makes that point is that when I first started, we're talking in the mid '80s now. I was playing one of these jazz festivals up in upstate New York, and played with guys like Miles Davis and Dizzy Gillespie, and I was on the bill. And nobody had really heard much about my music then, but was just starting to get airplay. So it wasn't super commercially successful, but it was the beginnings of it. It was the beginnings of Songbird becoming a big hit. So I played it, and I got great reviews from the jazz critics. And then the next year, after the record had sold like 5 or 6 million, I got asked to go back to the festival. And I went back to the festival. Obviously, they sold a lot of tickets because people were excited to hear my song because it became popular. So I played same exact music that we played the year before, and the same critics told me that I had gone commercial and there was no substance to the music anymore, but it was the same music. So it just goes to show you their perception caused them to write a bad review. And that's kind of the legacy that I have with just a very, very small percentage of critics. They just are never going to get over the fact that people are supporting my music, and I couldn't give that a second thought. It's all about the music to me. I do what I do, write it the way I write it, play it the way I play it, and how the cards fall from there, that's the way it is.
Absolutely. So glad to hear you say that, because like you're saying, all those critics mostly can't get over the fact that they couldn't even play a note like you could. So that's why they're writing about it, not playing.
Well, it's okay. We need critics. We need them there. It's nice. And I respect them too. I don't really read a lot of reviews, but if somebody throws one in my face, whether it's really good or really bad, and I read it, I can understand, let's say, their point of view, but I don't necessarily agree.
Right, exactly. Well, you mentioned a couple seconds ago, playing on those bills with, Miles Davis and Dizzy Gillespie. Oh my God, like that must have been legends for you. But you played with tons of great people and collaborations and things over the years. Like I'm sure it's hard to pick favorites, but I mean, didn't you do something with Sinatra?
Did something with Sinatra. Yeah. That was, of course, that's very proud of that. I mean, when you say you did a duet Frank Sinatra, that's not that many people in the world can say that. So yeah, sure. I'm proud of that. Yeah. I'm proud of a lot of solos I've done. And I was actually working on coming up with a solo this morning for a really popular artist that's just contacted me yesterday. I won't say who it is, but it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm trying to work out something that's going to be pretty cool. And I work really hard at these things. When I play on someone else's record, I give it the same amount of focus and heart and soul that I do on my own music, because I care about every note that I play. So I want it to be really, really great.
Wow. So we can't say the name, but a really popular artist has reached out to you to do a collab. Can we say what genre? What's sort of a teaser? What sort of genre are they famous?
Well, this sounds like a pop song to me. I don't know what category, but he's done very, very well in recent years, and so I'm kind of happy to do it, and it's just a challenge of figuring out what notes go well with this pop song, because it's not necessarily a jazz song, and it's not my music, so I got to find the right vibe and the right notes and all that stuff. So it's like a puzzle, but I like it, and I'm getting closer. I haven't got it yet, but I think I made a little headway this morning.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you were, and you gave us some, you gave us some hints. I got a he and a pop out of you. So before that, we didn't know if it was a she or hip hop, and now we know we're narrowing it down. So now there's your teaser, folks. You're gonna have to wait and hear and see who it is that Kenny G's been working with. But
let's hope it actually sees the light of day. You never know. You send a solo in, and they could not like it, but I can't imagine they wouldn't like it. I can't.
absolutely. Well, before we run, I am a huge movie guy. I know you've played on a couple soundtracks and some big movies and stuff. Any favorites or any good memories of? Gosh, what all did you do? Dying Young soundtrack. I think you did a My Heart Will Go On version, but that was more of like after you wasn't in Titanic. But like what's it been like getting to do stuff for the big screen?
Well, I haven't done enough of it. I'd like to do more. It's one of those areas that composers are really territorial, and I know all the big names that are doing all the film scores here in LA because I live here and I know these guys. I see them around, and you can't even imagine how many times I've gone up to the top guys and said, "Listen, guys, let me play one of your, let me help you write the theme to the movie. Let me play it. I don't even pay me. I don't care. So let me be part of it. Sure, it sounds great. Hey, we'll call you," and nobody calls.
Well,
that's how it works.
Maybe they'll hear this little interview.
Nah,
no,
I've tried. Listen, I have tried. It's one of those areas I think is going to just be eluding me for my lifetime. But I'll still keep a positive attitude. I'm still open. Still would love to do it. I've actually got some secret songs that I've got on my shelf, not literal shelf, but a figurative shelf that I think are beautiful themes for movies that I believe would win an Academy Award for the best original score. I mean, I've got these beautiful melodies. I just hope they see the light of day before I don't see the light of day anymore.
They're ready to go. Come on, Hollywood. They're ready to
I know.
go.
Come on, let's go. And they're ready.
Well, until then, we'll always have The Bodyguard and Dying Young and that stuff. Hey, real quick, couple final seconds here. Are you still in the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest note on a sax? I remember there was some talk of that back in the day. I always like if there's the little factoids where you've made history of being able to circular breathe and hold notes and stuff. So are you still in the record holder?
Well, it was in there at the time. I don't know if I'm still the record holder. I heard that somebody did it a little longer than me, but I don't know for a fact. I don't know how it all came down. So I haven't, I haven't really thought much about it. So no, I don't know, but I was for many, many years.
Awesome. And then I assume because of your name recognition, do you get called to do a lot of cool live ceremonial type stuff? Like this is on my brain because the Kennedy Center Honors are in DC and they always bring out surprise performances and stuff. Have you ever got to play Kennedy Center Honors or something similar, a Carnegie Hall or, like a big event space?
Yeah, I've done both of those before. I can't remember who was honored at Kennedy. I played, can't remember who it was. But yeah, I played there and it was cool. It's kind of like, very prestigious. It's very stuffy to me. The performances there, they were pretty stuffy. So it wasn't my favorite thing to do.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that if I wasn't presented a Kennedy Award, I wouldn't take it.
Yeah, of course you would.
Of course, I thought I did something with Baryshnikov or something. I can't remember if we did some sort of a thing together, but I don't remember if it was for that or something else. But seems to jog a memory. But gosh, it's been I've been doing this since let's see, 1982 was when I had my first record deal. So 40 years. It's hard to remember every performance that I've done. So forgive me if I can't remember exactly who I honored that night with a performance. I don't remember.
It's all right. Well, I really, really appreciate you taking 25 minutes out of your 3 hours of daily practice. How are you ever going to get those 20 minutes back? I cost you your career.
I'll tomorrow I can't really do too much today. I have an appointment that I have to go to. So I will make it up tomorrow somehow. Tomorrow I'll practice 20 extra minutes, which is no big deal. So I like to do it anyway.
Okay, great. Well, you know what? Maybe you can get some practice in. Do you mind playing us out with another little holiday theme?
Oh, sure. Let me give you, let's see, what would be good?
Kenny G. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks for all the good questions, and I wish you happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I really appreciate the music over the years.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.
Explain your DNA on 10 cases, man.
You're inside the police interrogation room with the alleged Potomac River rapist.
I'm not guilty on any of this stuff.
So calm, so reasonable. Could this be the man who terrorized women for 9 years before murdering a brilliant scientist 2 decades ago? Experience one of the most fascinating true crime podcasts available. Join crime reporter Paul Wagner for Unknown Subject, Season 3 of WTOP's American Nightmare series. Search American Nightmare Podcast on all podcast platforms.
I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.